Hi guys and welcome back. This is your girl friendlydramaqueen, and today I'm back to add to your K-drama watch list. I think it's been a minute since I've given you some new gems. So this video I'm going to be talking about 8 Korean dramas that I think are underrated, like actually underrated, in the sense that there's not a lot of buzz about them or they don't have particularly high rating on my drama list. Yeah, I'm going to get right into it. You know what to do if you like talking about Asian dramas, you love watching Asian dramas, join us, subscribe. All right, so the first drama I want to mention here is called Please Send a Fan Letter. It's a 2022 drama. It follows a top actress who reunites with her first love when his sick daughter sends her a fan letter. So the male lead's daughter happens to be a huge fan of the actress and wishes that her fan letter gets responded to. However, he's unable to actually get the response, so he fakes a response. But things get complicated when he ends up reuniting and running into her, and then they start getting more involved with each other. I really like this drama. I think that this is a nice, sweet watch if you're looking for something just nice and fluffy. This is called Hit the Spot. This one you might have a hard time finding, but this follows two 30-something-year-old best friends who find themselves having to run a sex podcast and being very out of their element and learning a lot and growing from the fact that they have to run this podcast. This one is really a hidden gem, I think primarily because it's produced by Coupang, which is what made Anna. It's kind of hard to find this online, but I was really surprised by the topics that were tackled. So this is a very mature drama. I think it's actually rated R because we know Korea is very conservative, and this drama is a full-on adult drama. It delves into the world of sex. It kind of opens even with an explicit type of scene. I'm warning you now. But I really enjoy the fact that there's a drama out here that is tackling something as risque as women's sexuality. It felt empowering. So if that's your bag, give it a watch. Next drama I want to talk about here is Yonder. Yonder is a 6-episode K-drama, and it follows a man who is basically dealing with grief after he loses his wife. It's set in the year 2040. He's a widower, and he receives an email a week into his grieving process that seems to have been sent from his recently deceased wife. And apparently she had uploaded her consciousness to a digital repository called Yonder before she died. And it's a service that basically allows the dead, or at least their memories, to communicate with their loved ones after death. So it's very much like if you've seen Upload, which is on Amazon, that kind of vibe, or Black Mirror adjacent, where it's a dystopian world. It's kind of trippy. I think it's a very interesting show to watch because it's very, very different. I find a lot of these sci-fi K-dramas tend to get lost in the sci-fi-ness of it all, but this one is still very down to earth. It prioritizes the characters' emotions, but still set in the sort of trippy backdrop. I don't know. I really think this one's very cool, but it's not for everyone. Obviously, if you don't like Black Mirror, if you don't like trippy type shows, then this one is not for you. All right. Next drama I want to talk about is Mad for Each Other. This one is probably the most mainstream one on this list. You can find it on Netflix. Mad for Each Other, it follows 2 people who are attending therapy sessions for different reasons, and they end up running into each other. They first have a very negative impression of each other, and they just bicker back and forth. But then as they get to know each other, they fall in love, essentially. I really, really, really like this one. It's also short. I believe it's either 8 or 12 episodes, one of those. It's very funny. I really lived for the bickering between both of them because both characters were quite unhinged. I really liked also that the comedic aspect of the show didn't downplay the seriousness of the traumas that they were both navigating, because it was some serious stuff that they were both navigating. But it did it in a way where it wasn't too heavy, and the comedic moments were still pretty good. I really recommend this one if you're looking for something just funny. Next drama is Seasons of Blossoms. Seasons of Blossoms is another recommendation I got, and this follows a woman who returns to her old school as a teacher. in an attempt to heal from losing her first love. So she's still dealing with that. She had a first love in high school. He passed away. She's grieving that loss. So she goes back to that school as a teacher and ends up running into the brother of her first love. And so as they get more involved, the show is mainly tackling her processing her grief alongside the brother. I think it's like a bittersweet watch where you're watching two stories play out in two different timelines. One of them will break your heart and the other one will make you smile. So it's like a nice balance. I think it was a surprisingly good watch for me, and I'm glad that I checked it out. You can check it out. Alice, the Ultimate Final Weapon. So this one follows a teenage assassin who meets a troubled young man, and they try to have like a normal high school life, except they can't because she's like a trained killer and he has some really, really disturbing coping mechanisms. You're gonna have to watch to find that out. It's a very bloodbathy, violent type show, but it's also a short episode count. I think that this is not for me personally because it was way too violent. But if you can stomach it, this would be a very interesting watch. It needs all the trigger warnings necessary because it is so violent and it does tackle a lot of really disturbing topics. And I will say one thing I liked, or the one thing I appreciated the most, because I didn't like the violence, was how they kind of poked fun at these like tropey, lighthearted high school romance. And it's like basically letting you know that this is not the drama that would show you that, but you know, in another life, if these two people were normal, this is how their love story would seem or how it would come across. Hope or Dope. So there's actually 1 and 2 of this. So it's it has a sequel. It follows a high school senior who is a drug mule at night. Her family, her mother particularly, uses her as a drug mule. But when one drug delivery goes wrong, she ends up trying to escape by running away to a rural village. She ends up meeting a bunch of other teenagers, and she finds out the village cultivates marijuana. And now she's basically dragged back into the world of like drugs and drug dealing all over again. I think that's all you need to know going into it. The closest thing I can describe this drama to, or what it's trying to do, is the drama extracurricular. So if that was your lane, you might like this one. Extracurricular obviously has a higher budget, and I think it's a little bit better. It's a well done drama, but this one is different. It's just high schoolers doing illegal shit, you know, that he shouldn't be doing. So Hope or Dope, the part 2, I believe, came out either earlier this year or late last year. So you have to watch if you care for these types. All right, my next drama I want to talk about here is I Have Not Done My Best Yet. I Have Not Done My Best Yet was actually recommended on my very first underrated list video that I did. And it follows a man, a 44-year-old man who quits his job and tries to pursue a dream of becoming a webtoon artist because he assumes that would be an easy thing to do based on noticing that his neighbor looks like a bum but is a webtoon artist. So this is actually based, I believe, on a webtoon. I think this is just a general quick, easy watch. I don't really have much to say about this one. This one does slip under the radar. You could do without never having seen it, but I do think like if you are looking for just something almost like Sound of Your Heart adjacent, but Sound of Your Heart is a bit funnier. So yeah, that's I have not done my best yet. All right, so those are 8 underrated K-drama gems that I just gave you. Let me know if you've seen or heard of any of these. I try to really dig deep and find dramas that y'all haven't heard. So a lot of these are produced by like the smaller networks. All right, let me know which ones you plan on checking out, which ones you're intrigued by in the comments, and which ones you've seen. Until next time, I'll catch you at another video. Bye.